Death Blow. Death Blow. Death Blow. Death Blow.
Hi guys, welcome to a new episode of Death Blow Podcast. Subscribe, like and share my videos with your friends and click on the bell to not miss new releases on my channel, Instagram, Facebook and TikTok for all videos and updates. Today the episode is about a new band that does groove metal and gent. Don't worry guys, because I will be back very soon to talk about black death and thrash metal bands. In the meantime, go to Spotify and Apple Podcasts to listen to the audio version of the episodes as well. This band is called Diatribe. They were formed back in 2008 in Hungary by Gergo Hayer, guitarist, and Akos Satmari, bassist. They started playing live in 2012 and thanks to their concerts, their popularity grew. What does it mean, Omega Diatribe? There is an ancient writing stemmed from an unknown alien civilization, a contract between humans and aliens about the use of planet Earth. The name of this is Omega Diatribe, a genuine interest in the paranormal and science fiction world. It promises to be a very interesting band. Coming back to the history, the following year in 2013, they released their first album entitled Ep.2. With this album, they achieved success, which was also nominated Best Album of the Year and Best Studio Production in their country, coming in second place. In 2014, David, the drummer, left the band, and in his place came Kevin Talley, famous for being part of important bands in the American death metal scene, such as Dying Fetus, Misery Index, and Chimera, to name a few. Hailing from San Antonio, Texas, he immediately proves to be in tune with the band and does an excellent job, especially on their next album, titled Abstract Ritual, which was released in 2015. During the same year, they signed a contract with Independent Year Records. In 2016, they released their single Contrast. Throughout their career, their strength has been to play live in many places and thus gain more and more fans and popularity. In 2017, they signed with the ILS group of Universal Records. With this label, they released the album Trinity in 2018, co-produced and mixed by Danish 2 Madsen at Ant Farm Studios, which was also nominated Best Album of the Year and Best Live Band. During the pandemic period, their new album Metanoia was released in 2020 under the Metal Scrap Records label, mastered by Jens Bogren at Fascination Street Studios. Jens has produced and mixed albums by Catatonia, Bloodbath, Amon Amarth, Opeth, Ishan, Enslaved and Sepultura, among others. In 2022, they started working with Tu Madsen again and released an EP entitled My Sphere. And now, let's talk about their latest album that I will analyze today, entitled Deviant, released in late 2023 under the Metal.hu Records label, also produced by Tu Madsen. The band's current lineup, especially for this latest album, is Milan Luxeni vocals, I'm very sorry about the pronouns, Gergo Hayer lead guitar, Janos Kelemen guitar, Akos Satmari bass, Adolf Groff drums. Deviant was released last December 1st, and now let's analyze the lyrics and the arrangements of this album. Let's start with the first song, Stench of Demise. In Stench of Demise, the lyrics talk about the impossibility of escaping one's destiny. Life contains ups and downs, and it's not possible to skip phases. Death is one of them. Death comes when least expected. He takes it and leaves, just like the wind. Now you are there, and then you are no longer there. And this has always frightened men since the most ancient eras. Omega Diatribe expressed the concept of live once. Live as much as possible. Carpe diem. Seize the moment and live in the present. Be fast, you better pack your backpack. Dig into your soul. Untie your wild stag. Digging deep inside yourself is very important. Knowing every side. even the darkest one. Losing a loved one is unfair, the desperate cry of pain and why it happened, because bad things are yet to happen. In this, Omega Diatribe are very good at expressing pain and anger. The stench of death also signifies the memories that person left behind when he or she was still alive. Regarding the arrangements of this song, the beginning has a very low guitar and repeated notes with some electronic effects, but very Meshuggah style to be clear. If you love their style, you cannot miss this band. The drums are not very fast but contain some very interesting passages. Technical metal, or known as djent, sounds easy, but it is not. Each instrument is related to the other. You need a lot of synchronization. Also, it contains musical structures that seem repetitive, but there are variations. Towards the end, I like this mixture of distant singing and guttural vocals. Second track, Mind Reader. In Mind Reader, the text is clear. Living the same routine every day is truly a nightmare. Wanting to sleep all day and never wake up again is not only a sign of depression or mental illness, but it is also an indication of existential malaise. Mass surveillance, full control, mob hypnosis, total recall exactly reflects today's society. Everyone doing the exact same things every day, thinking the same things, turns now to be like mass hypnosis. No one who thinks with their own head, imprisoned by their own fears, and all of this almost becomes mind reading. The repetition of actions means that you can predict what you're doing, developing a sort of telepathy. I never wanted to be in this program. I don't want to join to this fucking plan. It's a clear message of rebellion and awakening from the still sleeping masses. Even if society rules people's minds, the mind reader who does everything to hinder people from achieving their goals will not stop the individuals in revolution and rebellion. In Mind Reader, the beginning with the distant guitar and vocals promises to be an interesting song. I like the singer's desperate voice, reminiscent of the nu metal style of Korn and others. Not very fast, but the well-structured drum rhythms are very much in sync with the guitar. Very good lead guitar that makes an interesting passage during the chorus to give emphasis to the song. Then the bridge with the desperate vocals changes pace, is faster and with a well-done swing. Very good guitars towards the end with the rhythm guitar making the chords and the lead guitar creating the melody with the notes. Far from my genre, but still worth listening to. Third track, Deviant. Analyzing the text, I can see the central theme of anger and hatred. Being fed up with people who do not understand our soul and our world, living an empty life that brings nothing but frustration. Existential questions and questioning the existence of God. It contains a criticism of religion because it says, and blindly follow your own kind, get baptized so you can get in line. Hatred against Christianity and following religion without thinking do not help the mind, according to Omega Diatribe. Living in lies and dull minds, being dead inside but still alive. They say loud and clear, I hate people like you. I hate people who do nothing to ignite inner hope. They use the term open the door. I think it is a reference to the conscience, which needs to be awakened from a long sleep. The door is the entrance to consciousness and thus arrive at the truth of existence. We should all seek our inner self, our light and our calling. It is a call to awakening. Very interesting. The arrangement of this song always starts with distant voices to better describe the inner chaos that each of us can have. Here, both drums and guitar show that they are very much in tune. The lead guitar part is interesting in creating a melody that captures the listener's attention. The artist's guttural voice is very beautiful, perhaps the most beautiful song on the album. Djent is a different genre than death or thrash, but still valid. The bridge here contains an arpeggio and a whispered voice to better describe the inner despair, an arpeggio that makes you dream, really. Then, the tempo changes. Drums and guitars write another melody until the end of the song. Fourth track, My Sphere. In My Sphere, the lyrics address the theme of living in one's own way, not being overwhelmed by the rules of others and connecting with a higher energy. The theme is very spiritual. The energy, it is all around us and it's around us. A desperate need to heal from the evil that afflicts a human being. A need to be heard, understood, healed. Omega Diatribe are convinced that we human beings do not utilize our full potential, but only a fraction of it. That is why they say, I use my forces, do you use your forces? Then they address the concept of falling into a rotten world and getting out of here. How many have experienced the same thing? Living an empty, uninspired life and having the need to get out of here. Then there is a part of the text that says, I can't go on without you. It could also be on a metaphorical level, healing the darkest, sickest part of us, which is why you can't live without it, because it is part of us. I don't want to live with you anymore. I'm falling inside. Feel my suffering. I don't want to live with you. Sounds like a love story that can no longer go on. But there is something deeper that we often forget as human beings. Accepting how we really are, a truly profound lyric. In My Sphere, one can really feel the typical technique of this genre, a formidable harmony between the drums and the guitars, very good singing by the singer during the chorus. Here, the guitars often change rhythm and notes, and I must say that is not a bad track. It alternates between moments of speed and calmer moments. I like this track. Fifth track, Reflections. The lyrics of Reflections are about introspection of consciousness. Open your third eye. Open yourself to a new world, a new awareness. Break out of your low life. Experience high life. Refers to just that. Living a low life means that there is a need to change the course of it. To experience high life means to access higher frequencies such as inner peace, psychophysical well-being, and feeling good about oneself. It also speaks of inner reflection, understanding and listening to one's soul and pain. Dig deep into the mind and find what makes you feel bad and break the chain of inner darkness. Every mirror mocks me, showing what I've become. These scars on my surface cannot be undone. Shows being aware that the person you have become does not correspond to what you want to be. The scars that cannot be undone are those of the soul, which not only cause suffering within the self, but also cause it to everything around the individual. They are invisible scars that bleed within the soul. Reflections contains the beginning with arpeggio, and I must say that it is a well-done variation. The drums are faster than in previous songs, but then it picks up with the classic rhythm. Very good scream from the singer here. Here, the guitars change a lot of passages, and this is important, precisely so as not to bore the listener. The strong point of the gent is the change of rhythm and syncopated passages, a lot of technique then. Every structure must fit together with all the instruments. Sixth track, Indoctrinated, featured Sean Zatorsky. Regarding the lyrics of Indoctrinated, the theme of anger, frustration, and hatred become an energy that can turn into revenge. No mercy for the traitors, will make them pay their price. With clenched fists and sitting wrath, we will rise. It's a hymn to justice and to reacting in the face of life, which is often difficult and harsh. Die now and born again, deals with the concept of rebirth, like the phoenix rising from his ashes. One dies only to be inwardly reborn. They then tell of this inner battle, shouting, wake up, exactly as I explained in the episode dedicated to Witch Club Satan. They also shouted, wake up, in their song Hysteria, if you remember. Going back to the lyrics, they talk about this battle that has to be fought. Hate is all that's left. There's no escape from hate. 'cause they can't break my faith. Fight like there's no tomorrow. Move on and feed your sorrow. Awaken the conscience, awakening the remotest part of oneself. Everything turns into a repeating circle. Burn, suffer, lie, die. Only the individual can awaken his consciousness. About the arrangements, the beginning with the guitar creating a rhythm and all the other instruments following. The drums become fast and the vocals increasingly guttural, alternating with screams. Here you can hear several voices screaming together in the structure with the drums and the rest of the instruments, creating a rhythm with interesting chords and notes. Very good vocals towards the end of the song. The chant is really enjoyable to listen to. Even though it's a totally different genre from mine, I have to say that there's something that captures me. I don't know how this is possible, but it is important to have an open mind when it comes to metal. Here you see the collaboration with Sean Zatolsky, singer of Dot, Sinsenum and Chimera, to name a few. 7-track, False Prophecy. The central theme of rage and the scream of despair is present in almost all the texts that Omega Diatribe have written. It is the same here in the song False Prophecy, being awakened and seeing things that others do not see, thinking things that others do not think, thinking the unthinkable, a paradox but a very important one. It is fundamental and we do it every day as human beings. The problem arises when those who do not think try to crush those who have more consciousness. Let me explain. This world is not made for intelligent people, precisely because they are full of doubts and find it hard to accept frivolity and stupidity. Not only that, but also injustice. I gave you everything, to fill your fantasy. You gave me nothing, just another false prophecy. Makes me think of religion, to give everything for a fantasy, because there is no certain proof of God's existence according to them, and get nothing back. But false prophecy does not just mean religion. It means a belief system that shapes the individual. It can be the environment around us, the reality that each individual experiences every day, a text as profound as any other. Well done! About the music, the beginnings always contain arpeggios and then explosions of drums and guitar with complex and technical structures. The vocals are whispered and guttural. About halfway through the song, the guitars divide between those who do the chords and those who do the solos. Then everything stops and only the guitar remains, continuing to play its rhythm. The vocals towards the end are sung to make the song more complete. Very well done this track. 8-track, Seclusion. In Seclusion, the theme is one of never giving up. Never bow down before anyone, but walk tall, head up high, to release both anger and fear, but not be overwhelmed by them. To look lies in the face and not be beguiled by them. Release your fear, don't let it disappear. Breathe out your grief, to stay away from disbelief. Then it deals with the theme of running away from lies and everything that is not true in our eyes, becoming wiser, thinking and being free. Keep your head high, let your energies fly, please don't be shy, because we are all going to die. It indicates not being afraid, not being still, but reacting in the face of difficulties. Release pain and an empty life that gives no satisfaction. In Seclusion, a distant melody and then the song begins. Here the drums and guitar create several fast rhythms. They create a melody that continues with the vocals. There are variations in this song. The guitars create different melodies, both in terms of chords and single notes. Then everything stops to foreground the voice that screams, "Stay away from me." The whole thing stops to end with an arpeggio. Very well done this track. 9 and last track, Molecular Torsion. The lyrics of Molecular Torsion talk about the despondency within one's mind and that I know you, but I can't do anything, indicates the inner soul but which can hardly change, the soul that cannot wake up, full of fears and anguish. In I'll be visible for the world, they're gonna catch me again, it indicates the inability to face the outside world and the fear not only of other people's judgment, but of being transparent in the eyes of others. Showing fragility and pain is never a pleasant thing. The lights are annoying. Voices come through the walls. Makes me think of some otherworldly experience. Listening to voices and not being able to wake up really makes me think of ghosts and other inexplicable phenomena. I remember that Omega Diatribe is a name they chose regarding aliens and paranormal phenomena. So, it could also be this. They Gonna Catch Me Again is a reference to abductions by aliens against human beings. True or not, it's not up to me to say, but Omega Diatribe somehow wants to make people think and move their consciences as much as possible to open the minds of human beings to something deeper, to a deeper life. Molecular Torsion contains guitars that at the beginning create a dark rhythm. The drums slowly begin their introduction. The guitars hint at various musical structures and then begin the song proper. Interesting, this guitar riff. The guttural, desperate voice of the singer expresses suffering but at the same time strength. The rhythms of the guitars with syncopated passages are really technical. They sound like single notes, but there are chords in the jam, albeit barely perceptible and only in some parts. Okay, a different episode this time on Deathflow Podcast. Subscribe, like and share Deathflow Podcast and click on the bell to be notified with my new videos, Instagram, Facebook and TikTok with my new updates and news. See you soon guys!